So what I could do is I can go and buy a new boat, put my name down on a list, and the other thing is I don't want to be a tomorrow man. And what is a tomorrow man? A tomorrow man is, honey, tomorrow, one day, we're going to go sailing.
Yeah, because you're constantly stuck in projects.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or next year. Next year is going to be our year. So what me and Holly did, we just signed the paper with Bob Ross from Leopard Catamarans.
Yeah. Welcome to this edition of the On Deck channel. We're really excited to be able to have someone in studio that I am just like, this guy has been running around the Boatyard over here. He's a wild man. This is Mark O'Leary. We also have Stephen Lloyd, co-owner of the Yacht Rigger. Really glad to have you guys here. But can you introduce yourself? Because people kind of know us a little bit, but what's your background and what are you sailing around on and what are you doing here?
Yeah, sure. I've come to the Yacht Riggers to get my boat outfitted. It's a new Leopard 50 2023 model. My name is Mark O'Leary. If the accent hasn't given it away, I'm a southern boy. South of Ireland. County Cork, right, Ireland. Yeah. So big up to the Kinsale Yacht Club.
Are you a member?
No, but I sailed with them for quite a year and quite a number of years in the family as well. So there's that, and then there's the Royal RCYC, which there's one in Cape Town too, RCYC. But ours is the first yacht club in the world, Royal Cork Yacht Club.
Really?
Which celebrated its 300th anniversary in 2020.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was the very first yacht club
that
in
is
the world.
Really cool.
Google it.
I learned something tonight.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's really
in Cork.
Yeah, what a thing.
So I bought a Leopard 50 last year in Cape Town.
What year's the 50?
2023.
Oh man, that's sweet. What a big old pretty boat. We have a series on Leopard 50 that you can check in the description below or in the link card above, where the Yacht Rigger just did this awesome outfit on a Leopard 50, and then you came in. You actually didn't you know that guy? Didn't you sail with you?
Yeah, so me and Neil are friends. Some people might have seen us on a YouTube channel, Barefoot Doctors. We did a Atlantic crossing with Paul Badenhurst, a very experienced sailor. Over 300,000 nautical miles.
Crazy.
Now everyone thinks you're a doctor, though.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's how he's got a 50.
Yeah, not a doctor.
Yeah, right.
Was just a lonely old sales guy. Today was actually my last day with the company.
Oh, wow.
Worked
Congratulations.
with Salesforce.com for 10 years and just finished with them today, actually.
Dang, that's wild. Man,
we were just talking about it, right? I have to do the exit survey later, so if Angie's ever watching this, my boss, this is why it's late coming in.
Right? That's sweet. Man, so what does that feel like? You're just, are you, so now you're retired?
I would say I could have taken a sabbatical, maybe. They give you like 10 to 11 weeks. Great company for that. But I need a little bit longer because, as you know, with sailing, it's not enough.
Nope.
So I'm going to take about 2 years out to go travel with my family and friends. And that's kind of brings me to why the 50 as well, which we'll touch on. But again, who I am. So I've sailed monohulls. I've sailed Baltic 64, Catalinas, 22s, a bunch of different monohulls. But this is my very first time owning a catamaran. And it's been a fantastic boat. Really love it, to be honest. We've picked up the boat in Cape Town. We had somebody down there. His name's Marcel. If anyone's thinking of buying a Leopard, I recommend, you speak to Marcel. He's super knowledgeable. He's still got our back. Today, nearly a year later, I know you're going to meet with them soon.
Yep.
So we were down in Cape Town. We got the boat somewhat outfitted there. Some of the stainless steel work done there. Then we decided to sail the boat from Cape Town to Fort Lauderdale, and from Fort Lauderdale to Annapolis for hurricane season. Insurance companies wanted us up there. So last year we sailed over 10,500 miles in our first year of ownership, which I think Isabel at Leopard said that's a record for a new owner.
Wow, that's awesome.
I was going to ask, do you know what percentage, do you have any idea what percentage of boats actually are sailed over compared to shipped over now? I mean, it's got to be less than 10.
There's not many.
Very small percentage.
Very small percentage.
So just right there doing the crossing is, sets you in a small little percentage. And then you guys did that plus
we've
thousands.
We've done a little bit more than that afterwards. But it's such a great experience doing the Atlantic crossing, South Atlantic.
How long did that take to get that crossing done?
So we left in May, I believe, and the dates I could get wrong, the firm dates, but around May. We sailed to St. Helena. If any of your listeners are fans of sailing the Hoa, there's a clip in that where they clip to me. I want to set the record straight. They clip and they were like, the weather was predicted to be 45 knots, 50 knots, and that was an absolute no-go. But our captain Paul, it's not his first rodeo leaving Cape Town, so he was like, the weather's going to change and it's going to dip down this way, so we need to leave now to get up above it. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
To get up above it. And so we did. We left. We were the only boat leaving Cape Town. If you ever go to sailing the Hoa chasing storms or storm against time, you'll see me waving goodbye.
They're like, these idiots. Look at them.
Yeah, everybody in Cape Town was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. What are you guys doing?
Yep.
We had like 2 or 3 days of bad weather, but we got up above the weather.
So was it bad weather as in downwind? Like, was it at least downwind, or was it like
it was downwind.
But really windy.
It was really windy. It was downwind.
Yep.
We had like 40 knots wind. We had big seas, but like going to like not many boats sail across. I think it's a huge mistake. I think you should take the opportunity, the cost of putting your boat on a freighter and then shipping it over. The way boats are designed, like it's designed to be in the water and flex in the water. I'm not sure I'm still not sold on putting a 2-hulled boat with a beam on a fixed object that's going to rock and, back and forth from a structure standpoint. But us sailing it across, forget about that. The lessons learned and the opportunity to sail with someone as knowledgeable as Paul Badenhurst.
Totally.
And all in cost, it's about equal.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The confidence gain, knowing like, hey, I just took my boat across 4,000 or 5,000 miles of ocean. Like, for you to just dip down to the Keys from here is like a joke. I mean,
right.
It's
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to the person who jumps on their boat in Lauderdale for the first time and they're going 20 miles offshore and they're intimidated.
Yeah.
Whereas that's never going to compare.
And you got the shakedown done. Now you know what needs to be fixed, and geez.
So we got to sail. I got to sail with a very knowledgeable sailor. Big shout out to Paul. Funny enough, it was the day before yesterday. He's just left on the crossing with Wendy and Andre.
On a 45, right?
On a Leopard 45. Yeah. So he's doing the crossing with his lovely wife Sonia. 2 phenomenal people that became very close friends after the crossing. I would say friends for life.
Was Sonia with you guys?
Yes.
Paul and Sonia? Oh, cool. Okay.
And so that was actually her very first crossing.
Wow.
With Paul. So, and he said, moving forward, if you're lucky enough to get Paul to do your crossing, because there is wait lists, sign up. He's mandatory. Got to have Sonia, and you got to have Sterling.
I'm not sure. Do you know that story at all about Paul and Sonia?
I have not at all.
So they were high school sweethearts or high school friends, right?
High school sweethearts.
Yeah, sweethearts. And then they separated or, went their separate ways for 20, 25 something years. And then reconnected and got married about 2 years ago.
Wow, that's wild.
Cool story.
Dang.
So now they're, just, back together.
That's
it's
cool.
Amazing. Like a full circle story.
Yeah. And she's great as well.
So he captains, and then she's first mate, decky.
Yeah.
Cool.
Works on the boat, part of the crew as well.
I shouldn't assume he captains. She could be the captain.
No. Paul's the captain.
When Paul's on board, he's the captain.
You're
he's
like,
the captain.
for sure.
By default.
Someone's got to be.
He's the most modest man ever.
Really?
Like, I remember there was someone else asked him, like, you must get bored of, sailing all, doing all these miles, going that place. And he was like, how can you say that? Like, every crossing is going to be different.
Right.
Every crossing is different. And I welcome the opportunity in the future because it's such a good crossing. Going from Cape Town, you get to go to St. Helena, and it's downwind sailing. Even when the weather was bad, it wasn't, I felt a little bit worse when I was coming from Annapolis around Hatteras.
Sure.
It was actually tougher for us.
Yeah.
Or when we were going up the Caribbean chain, it was a little bit tougher. The seas were a little bit more choppy and confused. But you have downwind sailing. You're going from east to west. Trade wind sailing. You get to go to an island called St. Helena. And if you're ever there, there's a bar called Anne's Place. Tell them
Shout out to Anne.
Shout out to Anne's Place. Richard is running it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the mother. And the whole family are phenomenal. They shut the bar down because Paul is like a legend on the island. So, funny story about him. So, when COVID happened, he was the very last boat allowed into the island of St. Helena. And they shut it down.
Whoa.
And he was actually on radio, the radio there. And funny enough, so when we arrived, we were sitting in Anne's Place, and the island's so small, and all we hear is on the radio, we didn't call them, and they're playing the radio, and they're saying a big shout out to SVC Central, who's just arrived on the island, and St. Paul, because they call him St. Paul on the island,
Wow.
has arrived as well.
Jeez. Wow.
And they shut the bar down for a private event, did free food and drink for just us and all the crew.
What an experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Jeez.
And you get to climb up Jacob's Ladder. You get to go see where Napoleon was imprisoned, which I didn't know that. It was
Cool.
funny, though, because when you go into customs, there was a guy there, and he turned out to be a Tottenham supporter, so he's all right, because I follow Tottenham as well, British guy. British and the Irish guys, we still, sometimes we get a little bit cheeky with each other. But, yeah, so I was like, wow, it's full-on British, HMC,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Majesty Customs, the police forces, the same hats as in London.
Was your wife on the crossing and kid?
So yeah, they got on board from St. Lucia.
Okay.
And if I could do it again, I would still do it the same. Just because the Southern Ocean, it's the Southern Ocean.
It's different. Yeah.
It's a little bit different. The seas are a bit bigger, but that's where you really tested the boat. And like with Paul's experience, he said, "Mark, this is actually better for you because we got the worst weather, the heaviest weather at the very beginning. The first, when you're getting out of Cape Town, and you're South
Where I
African,
grew up. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
rough
Yep.
when you get out of Cape Town. So
Yeah,
when you get
kinda
out of
famous
Cape
for
Town,
that. Yeah.
super, super rough. But that's where you test the boat, and you're closest to turn back if anything did break.
Right.
But nothing broke.
All right.
You know?
That's good. All right. Go
It was
Leopard.
great. Go Leopard. So nothing broke. Everything was good. We really tested the boat. I actually did go downstairs, and I'll admit it here. I did bless myself. I was like, oh, what have I
That's
done?
awesome.
Because there was a funny story. Like, the reason we left,
Yeah.
and I'll disclose it, Paul knows, but the rest of the crew might not have. So there was a rugby game. Munster versus Stormers. And Munster got into the URC final. And I already had gone to the Munster game with John and Ellie from Barefoot Doctors. It was actually Ellie's very first rugby game, and
wow.
She's a fan now. So big shout out to Ellie and John as well, phenomenal people. And so we didn't expect to get into the final. We beat the Stormers. They had a 13-game winning streak.
I'm leaving. All right, I'm out of here.
They had a 13-game winning streak, and the Irish guys come into town. There wasn't many fans for that game because, it wasn't a final. You had to fly from Ireland to Cape Town, expensive flights. So I was one of maybe 50 people in the whole stadium with a red jersey.
Yeah.
And we just beat the local team.
Yeah. So you got out of town.
So, no, because this is what I love about Cape Town. The people are so friendly and nice, right? They really are.
That's cool.
I think they're almost the closest to my people in Cork, in Ireland, like with the same sort of mentality, friendliness. We just get along. We all love rugby. And they all started shaking my hand. I was like worried about getting out of the stadium. Like, oh my God, what's going to go on here? Because during the game, there was a lot of screams.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and I can't say
it's a whole thing.
the French words that were used.
Right.
But yeah, so after the game, they were just like shaking my hand. Good game. Congratulations. The best team won. But I didn't expect to be there for the URC final. So eventually there was another game. The Stormers and Munster were going to be in the final. Our sail date was supposed to be X, and I moved it to Y.
To make sure you didn't miss the final.
So we didn't miss the final.
Nice.
Well, we still had to get some things done, which naturally ended up working. So it was
right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when we hit the bad weather, it's like kind of like, oh man, this is my fault.
Whoops. Nah, it worked out.
No. I mean, yeah, but we only delayed it like by 4 days.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just
nothing
for the
crazy.
final.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
so
good.
As
You
long
made
as-
it happen.
I imagine Paul would not have said yes unless he knew he was fine.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
knows, he
yeah,
knows, he
right,
knows.
right.
He
He's
probably
not-
was going, oh, they're going to remember this.
Yeah, he looked at it and
No,
said,
no.
well, yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll remember it. It's going
It's
to
on
be
them.
tough, but we'll get you there.
But the great thing was hitting bad weather early on, and I didn't really understand what Paul was saying at the beginning. Was like, no, this is a good thing, Mark. You'll appreciate this. Everything else will seem better.
Yeah,
You've tested
no
the
question.
boat.
I prefer
and
things
now,
that way.
And
Make
now
it hard at the beginning.
Make it hard at the beginning so you appreciate the good.
Totally.
Because if we had the good, you wouldn't have appreciated it.
Right, yeah.
And you're terrified if you get used to the good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, I experienced that exactly. I learned to sail in Cape Town. So I learned to sail in this just rough, super windy condition. So
Yeah.
like, I remember after the first week of the crossing, I was like, well, is it going to get exciting? Yeah.
Yeah. Where
Like,
is
we're
it?
done.
Where's
it
the
was
wind?
mostly boring and lack of wind. That was our drive. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
That makes sense.
So why then Leopard, man? How'd that happen? So you had your monohull background. You decided, so why catamarans? And then why Leopard?
There's the other half of me, my CEO,
Yeah.
Holly O'Leary.
The Admiral. Yep.
Yeah. And she had a few requirements, which was, look, if you're going to get me out of living in a house where I have the creature comforts, I can give up some, but I can't give up everything. She loves, we were looking at Amel.
Okay.
So I was looking at an Amel 60.
Awesome boats.
I really love Amel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Halsberg Rassi for blue water, because I do like to go to the Baltics and go around those areas. So we were seriously considering the Amel. But then we pivoted to catamarans because first time she saw that light and the space.
Yep. It's hard to come back from that.
And then, we have a 6-year-old, Maddie, and, the lean, which Maddie loves, by the way. So we've taken her sailing before I ever got the 50, and she's like, Daddy, put the rail in the water. She,
Right.
Oh,
like
Cool.
standing
Exciting.
on the
Yeah,
side
yeah.
and, doing hobby cats and stuff like that.
I believe it.
Yeah, she loves it. But it's a safety issue too, right?
Sure.
So you can leave your cup on the table.
yep.
Um,
Wine glass is still there.
Yeah.
While you're powered up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so we were looking at catamarans, so we said, okay, we got to go catamarans, and I agreed begrudgingly at first. There's, that whole bias,
The purist,
like the
yeah.
purist in you. Like I was a DJ, and I've gone through the whole purist thing with the DJ scene. I started out in vinyl records, use vinyl, CDJs, laptops, not real DJing. It is. You're a disc jockey. You're moving music from one to the other.
Yeah.
And the same with sailing. Like you are sailing. You're moving by the wind. You're controlling it. But there's creature comforts and technology advances, and I would never go back. Actually, maybe for like day boating. The feel of the lean. I still love it.
Sure.
But not for liveaboard.
No.
Yeah.
No.
When you're
Okay.
in anchor, look at the boats.
Yeah.
Where's everyone hanging out?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got aircon now, thanks to Danny and
Yep.
yourself and team. The thermodynamica install. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So we wanted a catamaran, and then we said, okay, we've looked at a few. So we looked at the balanced catamaran. It's got, I think they've named it well. It's a good balance between performance and living. We met Phil. In a boat show, I think it was Miami Boat Show. My wife loves him. He's a funny character. Good South African. Seen him as well in Cape Town. I looked at the HH. Beautiful boat with dagger boards. But that ultra performance is not where we're at because it's just myself and my wife.
Right.
Again, going back to safety, I know you can blow the line and everything else, but the fact that you have to put that on a boat is telling you something.
Sure.
Sometimes you might actually need to.
Whenever you're blowing a line,
There's safety systems on the HHs to prevent a capsize.
Capsize.
So
I didn't.
like
Because you can fly the
fuses.
holes on those, right?
Yes.
If you push too far.
Yeah. Okay.
I flew a little bit of the 50 hull on my test sail.
No way.
Paul got off the boat and he was like, "We are not doing that on the crossing." So the boat wasn't officially mine yet. So I said, "Perfect time to test it." So I was given an option, and the option was we can go to the area where there's 14 to 15 knots, or we can go to the area where there's 34 knots. Thomas in Cape Town, who does the test sails with us, I was like, is the Pope Catholic? We're doing 34.
How could you not? Yeah.
Right. You know? And so we
See
did.
What you can do.
We did. We were up in 34 knots. I had the full main, full Genoa.
Oh my god.
He was like, oh,
Yeah,
and we
that's
were
crazy.
like cruising along. There's videos of it
Awesome.
on the John and Ellie's channel.
Oh, cool.
It was great. And so I was like, yeah, this boat can move.
Yeah, all right.
And I think anyone who spent some time on these boats, right? Like the HH builds a beautiful boat, no question. It's an
Great.
amazing. But the amount of space, if you want a house on the water that also can sail, the
And it
amount of
sails.
space on a Leopard 50 compared to an HH 50 or even the
Yep.
balance in the same class, there's a lot of sacrifice for that performance factor.
Yeah.
And sure, those boats are going to be a little bit faster some of the time in some situations, but
We overtook
getting
a
there-
balance.
There you go.
the crossing.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, and it's not like you're paying a huge performance price by going to a 50. Like it's still a decent sailboat. It sails well for a catamaran.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the interior volume is nuts. Like our
It
guys,
is crazy. You
they're-
you look in the video of the last 50
Oh,
series, it's
there's
ridiculous.
Space for days.
Yeah,
It's
like Andre just
unbelievable.
walks into hatches and you
Yeah.
know into lockers.
You
and
can
it's just
hide
crazy.
whole people in the cavities inside that boat.
It's crazy.
One of my friends, he's another Leopard 50 owner, super smart guy, Tomer, and Tomer. He was like, we both went to the boat show. Sorry, pun intended. And he was like, I'm searching for a new boat, but I can't find one. I can't find one that
He's
I would
looking for
give
something
up.
better than
Better.
what he has.
And he's like, we've got a really good boat. We've
Wow.
got a solid steel beam. You've
Yep.
seen it inside the hull.
Yep.
Goes from one side to the other, so it's super
It's
rigid.
unique to Leopard.
It's rigid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was unique to
Yeah.
Leopard.
Yeah.
I looked at the lagoons and it was just a different setup.
Yeah.
You know,
As far as
every
I know,
boat's
there's no other
compromise.
manufacturer that does that.
Yeah, so
cool.
it's phenomenal. It's super rigid. Like we didn't have squeaking. Like I'm on the boat and I was looking around and didn't have any like squeaks. Now,
Sweet.
do you have problems at the end of the day? Every boat has
That's
problems.
boating.
One of the things that is kind of getting old on me is everyone's got this opinion. I'm a big car guy. I love classic cars and sports cars, you know, race cars and stuff like that. And everybody's got this fandom. It's the same with Formula One. It's like Lewis Hamilton versus Red Bull and all of that.
Verstappen,
Yeah, Verstappen and he's better than this and just appreciate good. Every boat is a compromise. So you got to really search for what is it that you want.
Yeah.
The person who's saying, "Oh, I don't like that boat." Great. You don't like that boat.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for you.
Doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
What works for you might not work for me. And everything is an opportunity cost. You cannot have ultra speed and have
Ultra room.
ultra room.
Right.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
You just can't. The laws of physics still
Yeah,
apply.
right. Yeah, it's funny. It doesn't. Yeah, you can't outspend the fact that there are strengths and
And
weaknesses.
all within a budget too, right? Because
Yeah.
you can have ultra speed and crazy room on a 75-foot.
That's true,
catamaran
right? You get
that
to
costs
some
$6
crazy
million.
level. Sure.
But
Sure.
two
But then
people trying to
you can't
dock a
run with two people.
75 catamaran.
Yeah,
Not
see
gonna
now
happen.
you have
Now
to have
you
a
can have
captain
good
and a
luck.
decky, then you need an engineer and
Exactly. There's
interior
compromise
crew.
everywhere across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you found
so we love the door that goes out the front.
Yeah, forward
from
door, sweet.
forward door.
Yeah.
And that little forward lounge. It's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. Like, when you're on the hook.
that. And you get that brow that shades you, which
Yeah,
is so nice.
so we just loved that. The first things I looked at actually was the build, the structure of the boat, and I'm an engineer by trade as well, and I was just looking at it, going, "This boat is well built." Went into the engine room. The engine room, huge space. You're going to end up there no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
What's the old saying? Everything on a boat is broken. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I'm a new boat owner, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's already the case. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, everything's wear and tear, marine environment,
Yep.
it's going to happen
part of the
on
game.
every boat. I won't name the other manufacturer, but it was in St. Helena, the other manufacturing boat, built in performance boat as well, rocked up, not one, but both autopilots were down. Stuff happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna happen.
part of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
the way
know?
it is.
And we overtook that performance boat on the way up.
Right.
Nice.
We had an oxy sail. We had the parasailer, which was a huge advantage. You can leave it up for days, and it actually goes to the speed of apparent wind. It's like witchcraft.
Yeah, right.
Bob Maher
magic.
with North Sails even says, like, Mark, when you get over here, I need to go on that boat because I want to test that parasailer. To experience it, yeah. So the Oxley. So, yeah, we had that flying. We overtook a performance cat.
Yeah.
Now, would we beat them in a race? Absolutely not.
Right.
But when you're doing long-distance cruising, this is the thing people need to understand. When you're doing crossings, and Paul, with his experience too, was saying is you have comfort and that extra half a knot or whatever over longer distances, weather changes. Sometimes you're in the good weather, sometimes they're in the good weather for speed.
Right.
And so it changes. And you may gain a day or two. I don't care. I'm going to be at anchor for a week.
Right. Yeah.
In an area.
And very comfortable.
Yeah. With a lot of toys.
Yeah.
As
right.
you know from the packages that we get delivered on a daily basis.
Yeah, we need to get a shot of you walking through here with those packages.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, and you have these really good, strong opinions. I heard you sharing one time about why you wanted to buy a new boat. Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
When I heard, that was the first time I'd really heard you talking, and you had these great opinions around a new boat, and I'm like, I need you on the podcast.
Yeah. So my first opinion was, oh man, you need to buy, a used boat. Buy used, let the person go through all the punishment and optimize it. And, you'll get a good deal. You'll buy
depreciation
used depreciation and stuff, which is not necessarily true anymore.
Right.
Boats won't increase, but they're kind of like holding their value because the newer model is going to be a lot more. So you can expect if you pay $1 million, you could probably sell it for $1 million in 2 to 3 years. So you're not.
Yeah, because that new one is now 1.15.
1.5, yeah,
whatever,
exactly. Yeah. And now you've tailored it, and there is value in that, right? There is value in that, but you got to understand: are you a brand new boat owner, like never owned a catamaran before? You got to really understand what you're looking for when you're buying used, and you don't want to buy into somebody else's problems.
Absolutely.
And who's done the work? Like, have you gone to somebody reputable, like the yacht riggers, who'll go in, like you see Andre, he's going through, like ABYC guy, right? He's putting in breakers everywhere, ultra
he's got his little scopes
conservative
and stuff, and
on the safety of it. And that's why I came here, actually, by the way, was anybody who's going to open up the Komodo and show you the work that they're doing, nothing to hide, the wiring they're doing and everything, and these guys are actually involved in every single project you are. I don't know how you do it. You must clone yourselves because you're always on everyone's boat.
All they do is work.
Yeah, I know. And they're inspecting the other guys, right? Because, you can't buy experience, time on the job, right? And, years of experience from Steven and Andre and team. So that's, why you came here. So do you know that boat has gone through that?
Yeah.
When you buy a used?
Or the other person, when they outfitted it, might have been, just Bob the Builder kind of doing whatever, or guessing.
Or DIY. Like, have they, you've done it yourself, but...
Yeah, it could be really bastardized.
It's really interesting looking at listings of boats. When you look at a listing of these, there's so many catamarans for sale at any given time, and it'll just basically list, lithium upgrade, solar upgrade, and you have no idea what the quality or standard of the work was done to. And we see the boats come here sometimes because stuff doesn't work anymore. Yeah. And it was done by someone who either didn't care or didn't know or didn't just want to take the extra time to do it right.
Sure.
And you as a buyer, you have no way of vetting that.
No way.
Really.
No way.
There's
really so much going on.
There's not.
And it's an interesting perspective because I remember the first time you said that because I've kind of been in the territory of, well, it's your first boat, you should probably just buy a used one. Don't jump into
that's what you usually hear.
But
everyone says that.
Yeah.
But I have a completely different opinion to that. And I think
it's a good argument.
I think it's, and so to play it forward. So, okay, so I could buy a used boat. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not an expert.
Right.
I would need these guys, hire them, go over everything, and they still won't be able to see everything.
Sure.
They have to do test sales and everything else.
Too destructive, yeah.
And so
now you spend a lot of money.
And you spend a lot of money. So what I could do is I can go and buy a new boat, put my name down on a list, and the other thing is I don't want to be a tomorrow man. And what is a tomorrow man? A tomorrow man is, honey, tomorrow, one day, we're going to go sailing.
Yeah, because you're constantly stuck in projects.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or next year. Next year is going to be our year. So what me and Holly did, we just signed the paper with Bob Ross from Leopard Catamarans.
Yeah.
Signed it. We knew the delivery date. I actually moved it forward, out an extra 6 months. I said I don't want to take the boat. In I think it was August of the delivery. I said, that's in the middle of hurricane season for, good reason in Florida. It's like I'm not comfortable with that. I'd rather take possession of the boat right around. I was aiming for February. Roll forward like a little bit of a month forward, and so I said no. We'll take possession in, and it was about 2 years wait time. That gave us 2 years. I've already committed the money. Put my money where, on the table, and now the clock started. Now you have 2 years to research and understand that boat. You get to join an owner's forum. You know exactly what boat you're going to be buying. And when you're buying used, you're shopping around maybe for the brand. Like, I want a Leopard, and so you go looking for them, or Lagoon. You've seen other sailing channels, some very knowledgeable people, and they struggle.
Big time.
Yeah. A lot of those, they're struggling, and they know way more than me.
And because you're basically just taking what's available at the given time within your price range.
Yep.
And so you might find yourself shopping across 5 different brands.
And you see, like, going back to your point, like, you see like a Leopard 50 and it's advertised for 1.5 million. You might see another one for 1.7, but they're all different. Do you know that it's worth that? It's like you're buying a house.
How could you?
How could you?
Yeah.
And like you said, they have a lithium. They have a lithium bank installed. Great. It's like saying I have a car. Car comes with a house. What brand is it?
Right.
What was the maintenance done on it? This is all relevant stuff. Just because you have air conditioning, what type of air conditioning? As we know, Thermodynamica right now, Leopard is going with it for all the charters. Why? Because it's reliable.
Yep. Oh, Leopard's using that in their charters.
They switched.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I believe they saw air.
That's
right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
that's the word on the street. And why did I go with that as well? We did our research.
I mean, it's the best of the best, though. I mean,
it's the Ferrari.
It's the best available system.
Heck yeah.
And a lot of the time, from a contractor's perspective, it would be much easier for us to just find something that is easy and works and just install that for 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But because Andre and I live on boats, we're obsessed with what's newest and what's best. So we're constantly going, hey, how much more can we squeeze out of this performance model?
Yeah.
But so there's different mindsets out there, right? There's formulaic, do the same thing every time, or and which one you're gonna end up with, you don't know.
Yeah. And so I would say this isn't an order. This isn't a rule. This is more of an order of guidance. If you're a new boat owner, like new to buying a catamaran, and you don't know what you're looking at, buying new, for me, is the way to go. It gives you commit to the timeline of changing your lifestyle, and it's a huge lifestyle pivot to becoming a full-time cruiser. You're now saying you actually know the date. So that's another point. So let's say you already live on a boat. Great. You've already gotten onto the cruise lifestyle. You've already sold your house, your car, and everything else. But if you're coming from land like me, landlubber, and you have a house and everything else, now I know what time frame I need to sell that house.
Yeah, it really gives you a
as
end
opposed
point.
to when the right deal comes along.
Yeah,
And suddenly
you're in limbo, and then you're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
stability.
Yeah,
in the
some
long
definiteness.
term.
Smooth transition over.
Yeah.
So we got to sell our house. We knew the date that I'm going to go take possession of the boat.
So you get to know way ahead of
it.
time so much, that you can really plan a lot more versus just a random used boat deal that just pops
the
up.
right one comes along. Hey, deal's on the table.
You got to do something now.
Find the money and
I mean,
so you got your ducks in a row.
Financially too. I mean, I needed to sell the house to be able to help pay for the boat.
Right.
Might done okay in sales, but not made of that money. And so we needed to sell the home. So I got to choreograph all of that from a payment standpoint. I now have that date to organize and choreograph all the things like with Maddie, with schooling, homeschooling. We now know the boat, and I've been on the forum talking on the Leopard 50 owners group with phenomenal people. You've got like Carl Nelson, we call him the guru, right? He's the fountain of knowledge, and I was just even chatting with him last night again. You get all these knowledgeable people, and you start building a network and a community before I've ever set foot on my own boat.
It's cool.
So now, by the time I get the boat, there's that stress reliever that, I've got a bunch of people that know the boat, who've gone through all the problems, that any problem that, your particular model might have, right, with systems and understanding where things are, where the fuse is for your radar, everything like that. And so now you roll forward, now you've got a brand new boat. You also now have a warranty. And that is also a huge benefit because Leopard, they've been phenomenal with my warranty stuff, right? I mean, we're connected with Elliot. He's like, okay, approved. We've got you. Yeah. We got your back.
And you don't know that the person you're buying, say, a used Leopard from, exercised their warranty in any way, right? If there were any warranty issues, did they find them? Did they dig deep enough? Did they use the boat?
Then who did the repair or whatever? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And so now you get to own your boat. You now got a community that you can lean on, which you can lean on, by the way, even if you buy a used boat. The cruising community is just, cool. It's amazing.
Really neat.
So, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you've got a community of people who are really knowledgeable about your vessel. And then you have the warranty process. You've got that with the manufacturer of the new boat you bought. You make sure you buy from a manufacturer who who's been in business a long time. I've seen a lot of other small shops, and they might do 2-3 boats.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. You just don't know what's next.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's sometimes people giving out about certain brands again. When you're buying a brand that has made hundreds of boats, of course there's going to be issues with anything.
When you're making
Tesla, same.
Exactly.
Does that make it?
That scale of production.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah.
But with that scale of production comes economies of scale. So you're getting a phenomenal boat that should cost way more than what it is.
No question.
Right. Yeah. They're just making so much. Like you say, the economy of scale really drives the price down.
Exactly.
And the technology up. And it's good.
Yeah. And so you have that. And so then now you're on your boat, brand new boat with the warranty, with the knowledge of the people. Now it comes the choice of, from my perspective of, do I want to ship it or sail it? And then I was like, we're going to sail it.
Sweet.
We're going to sail it.
Right.
Neil was smarter than me though, because what's better than sailing your own boat is having a friend who's sailed, and you just bought the same boat. So he had his boat.
That was pretty smart. Yeah.
So he got the sail on it too.
But he didn't get to put his boat through the paces like you did.
True.
And I mean, we haven't, I don't think, discovered any issues on Neil's yet that wouldn't have been discovered, but that might still be the case. I mean, you definitely got to put your boat through its paces. And are you the worst for wear? I mean, did anything happen on the crossing that you're like, I wish I didn't put those 4,000 miles on the boat?
No,
right? So if anything, it's just giving you that confidence. So my boat, specifically this boat, has already done that, no problems. So anything I take on the coast here is, although you do have the close to shore mentality thing though, because you know how you get spoiled when you're 1,000 miles from the nearest rock. It's very, there's peace of mind there, right? But then when you're hugging the coast on the trip, it's actually more, I find it more stressful. I like being 100 miles offshore. I'm much more comfortable.
Yeah, we're a good few miles offshore.
Yeah.
But and Owen from, he worked for Robertson Kane. He actually flew over and visited our boat in Annapolis. He's like gel coat wizard. And he looked at the boat. He was like, what? I don't believe it. I'm trying to do the South African accent. I should stop. I can't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it. No cracks. Like, where are the cracks?
Right.
Because, it's a new boat, gel coat. It's sometimes, cracks. Things. It's just aesthetics.
Yep.
But he couldn't believe that it sailed a couple thousand miles.
All right. Man.
Yeah, he was like looking around going, what?
Jeez, that's sweet to hear.
Yeah, so
I love being able to hear those
woods,
experiences,
Look at the Irish, maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
And a lot of people
Right.
like to trash on the big three manufacturers, and
Of course they do.
But but it's like, well, but what are the regular person's options? It's hard enough to try to afford one of these boats, and now I have to go find like someone to make a bespoke one-off design just for me. Like, sorry, I'm not the 1% of the 1%.
Right.
I'm gonna have
And
to
then
do one of
there's
the three,
issues.
and I don't
that
want to feel
boat
bad about it.
alone, what kind of owners group do you have? You buy a boat, there've been like
Yeah, have fun with
30
that.
hulls built,
No
and then
kidding.
you're like, hey, is anyone know where the fuse is for the windlass? Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. You're
I
just
post
on your
a
own.
question on Facebook on either the Leopard group or the Leopard 50 owners group.
Right.
And it's literally within minutes I have a response.
That's awesome.
I had a
That's
response
really cool.
from
It's really cool.
Laurent
Yep.
and Andre,
Very specific.
both
Yeah.
knowledgeable on it. Laurent was like, from Just Cats as
Yep.
well. He was like,
Yep.
yeah, Mark, this is what you need to do. Here's where you need to go.
Yep.
Another time it was Andre.
That's
all right.
great.
With Yacht Riggers, same thing. Or the guru, Carl.
Yep.
Everyone
Mostly
and the
Carl,
Leopard.
yeah.
Everyone on the
Carl.
Leopard groups knows Carl
Really?
Nelson.
That's funny.
Legend of a man. So that's the advantage you have too. You're
real
buying into a
community.
community.
Yep.
A fresh community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
People who are
it's-
passionate about their brand.
Yeah.
What a big
Yeah.
deal. So you that's why you got a new boat. You sail it over here. You have this awesome experience. Also,
Yeah.
why you went with Leopard specifically. That's
Yeah.
really cool. We're not sponsored by Leopard or anything,
No.
but it's really neat to be able to hear these like just great interactions you've had and experience that you've had, and them having your back on
Yeah.
warranty. And that's really cool to hear for sure. I'd be comforted if I was in the market looking at a Leopard, and I have been in that market before, and so I love hearing that. So having done all that though, what got on your radar as far as upgrades that you wanted to make, and kind of, what were you most excited about around that? And how'd you come to conclude what you did regarding what you picked out?
Well, if Holly was here, she'll tell you the first one. We went nearly 1 year without air conditioning. So
48 hours ago, roughly.
yeah,
So
we
you
just got it
spec'd it
turned
without
on.
AC.
Yeah, so
Big
we had
Crossed with no AC.
crossed with no AC.
Caribbean, no AC. Yeah.
We
You
had
really use that forward
we had
door.
John McIntosh in the starboard forward VIP cabin. Me and the master. We had Paul and Sonia over there, and poor Neil, the tallest guy of them all.
He's so tall.
Was in the VIP. I think he's like 6'5".
He's like port forward.
Yeah, and like I had heat rashes. I think somebody else did. And like so it was.
Just,
there was
that's a
sometimes
lot.
there was no air.
Yeah.
We were getting sheets. I was getting sheets and covering. Like the window when you open the hatch and trying to build like a.
Like a cow, like to get
to scoop in the air.
That's awesome.
That's why Neil prioritized air conditioning. So
Yeah.
Oh
Neil
yes,
That's so funny.
poor Neil too. Love him to bits, but yeah, he was
That's a lot.
like, we were just
Yeah, I run hot. That'd be tough.
oh, and with a boat, it's in the water, so you have the hull in the water, so you're either too hot or too cold.
It's one or the other.
You're
Yeah.
one or the other. So, man, I know first world problems. Oh my God, you're on your
Yeah.
boat, your yacht,
Yeah,
and
right.
I need air conditioning. My Irish lads in Ireland like
Yeah, right.
get out the violin,
Tiny
no Larry.
violins,
Yeah.
But no, oh man, when it turned on, one of the guys working there, he said, it's like a spaceship when it turns on, it transforms the boat. You know, it was like.
It really does. I stepped on there last night, and it was like, 50 degrees out, and
Yeah.
it was like 78 inside the boat, and all the kids were running around like in like shorts and t-shirts.
Awesome.
And I'm like, what are you guys doing in here? And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Dry, warm.
Yeah.
Did you spec it with any of the AC like plumbing and ducting, like the prep package?
I
From?
did.
Okay.
I did that, and if I had my choice again, I wouldn't do
Oh,
it.
really? Okay.
I would rather just get a fresh,
Go
clean
fresh.
slate.
Raw.
Yeah.
That way you get
so
what you need.
The options list on Leopard. I just as much as I love Leopard, I'll also be real and truthful. Is I've tried to narrow down the options list, to not go too much on it. One, I didn't want the swim platform. There's buddies out there with the 50s, they love it, great. I just didn't want a half-ton weight on the back of my boat, and I can buy an inflatable blow up. And I feel like the David system is kind of bulletproof, goes up.
I think it's really
down.
hard to fix that platform.
Yeah,
I bet it
can't
is.
imagine if that thing goes really badly wrong
Yeah.
when you're in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I think you made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and again, it's everybody, just because I like, and that's my opinion, doesn't
yeah.
mean it's the right one.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And something
So-
to keep in mind is like a production plant the size of Leopard. Like we've talked to them in the past, because some owners, they don't even want the cooktop put in. They don't want the cutout done for the cooktop.
Wow.
The Leopard won't do that. They install the cooktop every time. And their answer to that is, now we have to go on the boat and tell these dudes, do not cut this one. Because it's more work to make sure the guy doesn't do the cutout that he's done on hundreds of other boats. It's actually more problematic for them to delete a thousands of dollar item.
Yeah.
And so as much as you might try, there's certain economies of scale that for them just don't make sense.
Right.
They're like, look, we're going to push the boat out this way every time.
Yeah, this is like the minimum of
like
what
that
we
fridge.
can
Oh my
pull.
god, I'm sorry, but it's my pet peeve, that fridge in the salon, that Virtual Frigo fridge, it just frosts up in like 3 weeks. And
What'd you go with?
well, we have the Virtual Frigo right now, but I might have gone because it was such a pain. I've gone and overcompensated. I have how many? I have 6 freezers on board now.
It's 6 six
No
freezers
way.
total.
Really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I've gotten an Isotherm 200 down in the hallway. That was a Carl recommendation. Then I got
This is a Carl sponsored podcast, right?
Right.
Then we got a Virtual Frigo, but the frostless one. I think it runs about $3,500. We got that in the laundry room.
It's the same one that Neil got.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
cool.
Just raving
That
about
one
it
looks
even
great.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I've done my research.
Yeah.
I'm that's just who I am. I overanalyze and weigh up all the options, bill a sheet. And,
Sometimes a little too much.
yeah, analysis paralysis.
Yeah,
Can make
yeah.
some people's lives difficult, but you know what? Let's not mess with perfection, eh? And then Dometic. Oh, if you're ever questioning, should I get a Dometic fridge or freezer, just buy it. It's
Really? Okay.
so good.
Yeah, that
All
big
right.
one in the cockpit,
Cool.
you mean?
Yeah.
The portable one? Yeah.
I wasn't sure which way you were going to say
He's
on
talking
that.
about
Okay.
the
The
portable one.
Dometic
Okay.
ones, so
Oh, right,
they're
right.
portable.
Looks like a cooler.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yep.
Yeah, so we
I
had
have
one of
one
them.
too, yeah.
we had one of them for the crossing. I had it under the table, outdoors. Still looks brand new,
Wow.
like
Wow.
in a
That's
sea
sweet.
environment. And I
All right.
didn't treat it with anything or anything. It just works. Doesn't frost over.
No, it is in the cockpit of a Leopard 50, which is,
Yeah, a little
slightly
drier.
less exposed to the elements than like.
Yeah.
you
And then
know,
it had a
like
huge solar
Hanging
arc.
on the back of
Right.
a 27 or something.
Yeah.
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 But no, I agree. I've had one in my cockpit in the
Yeah.
Florida heat for 3-4 years,
So
and it
good.
still looks like new. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have 2 of those as well. Got the 100 liter and the 55 liter one, and then of course we have 2 other fridges that. One in the salon, which we'll just use for all fridge, and then we have one out in the outdoor area.
Right.
Okay.
Right in the cockpit.
Cockpit,
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you go with? What's your battery setup?
We went with 48 volt.
Nice.
I was debating that. Like I did construction when I was in San Francisco at my house, and I did accidentally get shocked on a socket, so I know what it feels like. And I was like, 48 volt if I'm working on electricity, but at the end of the day,
You have 120 and 220 on the boat.
yeah.
Either way.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
there.
and you have 600 amp hours, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have 600 amp hour lithium bank.
2400. That's 2400,
It's
right?
Electron,
At 12.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I looked at it is start with the problem that you're trying to solve.
Right.
Otherwise you'll, design for a problem doesn't exist.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
My problem was, okay, all right, first off, I want to see how much solar power I can get on this boat. We were in Cape Town, and we got the solar panels done there. And
Which, side note, we need to get a video of that.
Yeah.
Mark has about the sexiest solar framing
Oh,
that we've ever seen.
yeah,
Those deck mount
man.
panels.
Yeah. That is
We will-
crazy.
when we do the sea trial, we should get
Yeah,
some footage
okay,
of that.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
No.
I even asked about it when I first pulled it. I was like, what is going on there?
the original design, so Hugo built it, but there was another channel, 45 channel trial sketch. The guy on that.
That's his design.
Trent, he originally designed one, but without the airflow, I think, or
Okay.
with it extra. I can't remember.
Okay.
Sure, he'll fill you in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he did that design, and then Hugo just does phenomenal work.
Yeah.
His team.
Cool.
We got to go visit the place where he built it and everything
Right.
else, and see the teams
And
working
you
on
have
it.
3.8 kilowatts?
3,705.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
Solar.
All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it's the very first 50 to have 5 full size, rigid solar panels. So they've only ever done 4 in Cape Town. Well, I can't speak for other locations, but in Cape Town.
Like right here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And so okay. Well, we were the first.
You've seen Neil's, right?
Yeah, but
we were after.
we
We were after.
first.
Fair enough.
Okay. And so they said it can't be done. I was like, yes, it can.
Yeah.
We'll figure it
but it
out.
can.
Oh, but it can.
Trendsetter right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
I
And
have
so
measured.
We did, and so what we did was they had to like customize the framing so that the lines can run under it, under the panel, and there's no issue.
Cool.
You know,
And his rear arch is really unique too, and
Yeah.
how his panels are totally inset,
Embedded.
like, really inset into the arch. So yeah,
that was also a
I'd love
first.
to do
So
a feature. It has to be.
Sweet, yeah.
I've
made a
not
lot
seen
of great friends in Cape Town. Where I was
Yeah, I
like, no,
bet.
you
Yeah.
got to do it this way.
It's
They're
not
like,
going to work. If you
It's
don't.
not going to work. I was like, yes, it will. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Let's figure it out. And then when we did it in Cape Town, there was people walking up and down, and they were doing the mounted panels where they go up on top of the frame.
Yep.
And then they saw mine and were like, we want that.
Hey,
and they
yeah.
actually had to redo one boat. The guy demanded.
Wow.
It was on a 42.
Wow.
And he was like, no, I never was offered that. And he was like, neither was this guy.
He made it happen.
Forced it.
That Irishman.
Yeah,
totally.
no, you get more.
Like,
you
we
get
need
more.
to get this guy out of here.
You get more bees with honey, right? And so
Yeah.
being polite to the guys working on the
Cool,
boat.
cool.
We were actually talking about that. You know, it's when you're doing custom builds on a job. Just going out to a big shout out to any boat owner. Just treat them with kindness. You know, there's going to be a guy that will drop a hammer somewhere, might dent something, scratch something. There's going to be issues with your brand new boat. There, whether it's used or new, it really doesn't matter. Like I say, everything on the boat's broke. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what brand you buy.
Right.
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Every boat has OEM components that are going on, whether it's Raymarine, Garmin, B&G, and don't go into the debate of B&G is better than Garmin or Garmin supports better than Raymarine. You're going to have issues.
Yeah.
We work on them all, and I can
Yeah.
attest to that.
Yeah.
There's no question. We see them all
You
come
know?
through
Yeah,
here.
just a bunch of
Everyone
trade-offs,
has different
but-
issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what I say is, you know, when I was in Cape Town, we worked with the multi-marine guys, with Adrian and team. They do great work as well. And, you know, just treat them with kindness.
Cool.
They were on my boat a lot more than others. I won't, you know, there were some
funny
boats.
how that
and,
works. Yep.
Yeah, and I bought them lunch. I took them for lunch. You bring them food.
Cool.
What a cheat sheet.
I
you
know,
know?
right?
Right.
Yeah. Turns
Right.
out.
You
Yeah.
know, like the cost of your boat, how much you're paying. You have a bunch of guys who are going to go work on your boat.
Yeah. Take care of them.
They're not that they're not going to do a good job for
Sure.
for other people. I don't think they would do that, but
It's a good investment.
But it's a good investment. Buy the guy lunch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about his motivation.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
If he has to choose between two customers, you know, that
Yeah.
he's going to show up to on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He's going to pick
Like,
a guy
this
that
dude,
bought him lunch.
this
on
dude,
Friday.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. This guy comes packing donuts.
And guess what? I have all of them on WhatsApp chains.
Right.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
they respond.
That's
Right.
nice.
Right.
They respond on the weekend.
Because they
Cool.
see you as a person.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
not just a
you're right.
random
They've got my back.
customer. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So big shout out to Adrian in
I like
Cape
it.
Town.
Yeah. Good life tip.
Yeah, so super nice guy. And yeah, so when my radar went down, it was a fuse. I didn't know where the fuse was. Quick text. We got on a video chat and directed me exactly where it was.
Yeah.
You know?
He had the time for you.
Yeah.
He didn't mind. Yeah.
And the other thing is that goes back to the advantage of, having a boat that's at scale. There's a lot of people who, if there's an issue that's happened, it's been covered.
It's happened
Yeah.
already.
It's happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not the first one.
If you're on hull number 1 or 2,
Never buy hull number one.
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, that I think we can all agree on.
Yes,
I am
that's-
never, ever, ever going to
It's not
buy
gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
hull number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever.
You better have a lot of money.
Doesn't
you know,
matter
a lot
how
of time
good
A
or
lot of patience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Doesn't
It's
matter how
just-
good
it's tough.
the boat builder is.
No.
It's a man-made, custom-made,
Yeah.
and even Leopards is still man-made, custom-made. It's going, you have people on it. This isn't,
It's not robots.
It's not robots in a car manufacturing plant.
yeah, with hyper
Yeah.
tolerances
No.
and
Hyper
yeah.
tolerances. It's
Yeah.
not like
Very different.
funny. My wife and I, we just got some netting delivered for our buddy boat over in the Bahamas, Tomer and Noah, and so
Who did the netting? Do you know?
we ordered it on Amazon, but it's
okay.
custom made.
It's the lifeline netting, so not the trampolines. Like,
No, not the
lifeline.
trampolines.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. It's the ones for the doors.
Yeah.
Stop mosquitoes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
mosquito netting.
Yeah,
Oh.
mosquito net. Sorry, yeah. And so we got that netting built, and Tomira's order was 2 inches different in the window. And I was like, there's no way our boat is 2 inches different in the window. Window's got a frame, it's metal.
Not. Yeah.
Surely not. And my wife today was like, told you.
It really is. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's like kind of like how nothing's square on a boat, you know?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, you walk on a boat with a spirit level or a 90-degree square. You're not
If you bring a residential carpenter onto a boat,
just have a conniption.
You'll have a stroke.
Stroke out on you.
So that'll happen real fast. Nothing square, nothing's
just
everything's
the way it is,
different.
Right? Yeah,
from 150 to the next, they
boat
are
life.
different.
Got to get behind it and brace it, or just don't do it, because you got to be cut out in a certain way to be able to get behind the idea that things are breaking, and this is you got to just see it as part of the adventure.
Down.
Yeah, you just got to have a good attitude.
Right. Good attitude, smile.
Accept that you're going to be there's going to be issues. It's part of the lifestyle.
It's part of the lifestyle. Yeah, good way to put it. So you did solar, your lithium, your turbodynamica, you love the AC.
Alternators, upgraded alternators too, which I haven't gotten to test yet, so I can't say if they're good or not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Monday. Cool.
Should have a video on that.
Yeah, I would really like to. That'd be cool. What are the alternators?
The Zeus. We did the
HPI 130s. Is the alternator. And then the Zeus regulators.
Zeus regulators.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wake speed. They had the wake speed 500, and then they have the new one. It's like the 2000.
Yep.
But then with the Zeus, you can remotely connect to it.
Yep.
So there's remote connectivity and everything else. I'm a techie nerd. I'm trying to do a lot of IoT on my boat as well.
Nice.
I will never be up to the scale of another Leopard 50 Tomer. Tomer is got like connected water supply for his dock, so he can open and close.
Oh, the valve.
So the valves remotely to fill his tanks, and his tanks the valve will automatically open when it gets to a certain level. I'm like.
He's at the mercy of the computers at this point.
Yeah.
When they take over, he's done.
All the lights are remotely controlled on an iPad, so all the lights in the slot everywhere, remotely controlled. Aircon for each zone, which I can do actually.
Yeah, I was going to say
remotely. He can't actually do it remotely. I can. There you go. Gotcha.
There you go.
Because the thanks to thermodynamica, I can be, sipping Mai Tais at the bar, and pull out my phone and go, okay, it's time to start cooling the boat.
Yeah.
Show up half an hour later and the boat's cool.
Yeah. That's bad. I didn't know you could do that with it.
Something else he did that's, I don't want to say unique. Many people have done it, but I don't know how many Leopard owners have done it, is he bought a portable Rain Man in Cape Town, used it for the crossing, rigged it up for a crossing, and did some jury rigging on the crossing to make sure it's easier when you're sailing to pick up from a through hull.
We were...
But then we converted it to a fully installed Rayman with a control panel. So
sweet. All right.
We can definitely get a video on that.
Yeah, I want to see that for sure.
You should see the pictures of what we were trying to do in Cape Town.
We should get some actually.
We have a big, huge white tube. It was like picture Paul with his ponytail, kind of he looks like the guy in the outback, in Australia, and he's got this big white pipe, doing didgeridoo. He's actually making the sounds out of it. We're on the dock, and the reason we bought the pipe, why do you need 8-foot PVC, is the portable Rain Man has this tube, which for any engine you don't want to be sucking air, and so it needs to be the water going in.
Yeah.
And when you're moving, we were the problem with the 50 at the time. We were going too fast. We were doing 9 knots. On average. We were doing 9 knots on average.
Struggles in anything over 4.5.
5.
So we were going too fast for it, and so we couldn't make water. We'd have to slow the boat down to make water, and we were kind of like, slow the boat down.
Yeah, come on.
Sacrilege.
What are you doing?
Right?
It's a race against who? That seagull.
Right. Whatever's moving.
Whatever moving, that bird. And so what we did was we actually went down, and the one thing I will say you should get if you're ever getting a Leopard or any boat is get the provisioning for the water maker.
For the water maker. Okay.
Because
really?
that creates a true hole with that.
That I don't have to drill in the bottom of the boat at the dock.
We've seen that. Yeah. That was in the Leopard 50 series on our channel.
If we can avoid, it worked, but the provisioning at the factory.
A little tight.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say yes, get the water maker provisioning.
So what were you
just for that alone?
So what were you doing with the 8-foot PVC?
So we tried it, and we were using foam going down the pipe because we were going so fast it started bouncing up.
Wait, so you're taking the PVC and you're putting
we tied it onto the ladder.
Okay.
At the back of the
That
transom.
okay, yeah.
So we tied it onto the ladder,
going
did
straight
some
down?
lashings, and kind of down at an angle.
Like
Yeah,
a
makes
reverse
sense.
jet kind of thing.
Yeah, you're trying to force water
but
up it.
the force of
it.
it, we were just like, this thing is gonna rip that ladder off.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Warranty claim.
Oh yeah.
This ladder sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Fell off.
Fell
What
off.
did you do?
Yeah.
Only
Leopard,
one
like-
half though.
Yeah. Warranty claim. No. Yeah. See, Leopard can testify. There's no warranty claim for the ladder.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
So that didn't work at all, though?
Yeah, no, didn't work at all.
At
At all.
8-9 knots.
It just didn't matter.
It was a complete failure.
Right.
Well, it's good you're trying.
Yeah, so then what we did was we got to St. Helena, and me and the team, the crew, we were like having to search for a hardware store.
An
And we-
island of 2,000 people.
Yeah, and there was two hardware stores, but we searched in 3 places. First, we went to hardware store 1, then hardware store 2. We were looking at plumbing fittings. What we needed was a reducer. We needed to go from a 3-inch down to, I think, 1.5 inch. But it's metric, so I think the US conversion of, your weird metrics.
Freedom.
Yeah. Sorry, just come to the metric system. It's divisible by
I'm
by
with you.
1,000.
Yeah, 10s are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10s are good.
And so we were looking for the fitting. We couldn't find it. I was like, damn, I really wish we could make a fitting. I'm going to have to solve this in the future with like a 3D printer.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Right.
3D
Which
printer.
I did get now, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
And so eventually we went to Richard in Anne's place, Paul's
way.
friend. And we're like, man, we're so deflated. We can't find this bloody fitting, a reducer. Guys, why didn't you just ask me?
Pulls one out of his pocket.
He goes, I'll be back. And he comes back with this copper exact fit.
Wow.
We're like,
crazy.
oh my God.
What are the chances?
Yes. So
It's amazing.
so we have this. I have the fitting on board. I am not throwing it away. It's
No, yeah, that's a
good memory.
talisman. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's
good.
that's a good memory. So yeah, we worked it. We went down to the hall because we have already had it provisioned.
Yeah.
So we did our own install first of the Rain Man. Poor Holly and her beautiful bamboo chopping board was our base. So we put that in the hall. We used, like the tie wraps, for the dinghy to tie it down
Yep.
around
Strap
the
it down
base.
there. Yep.
So the base is like that wide and Raymarine's that wide. So we figured, the triangulation, you should put in the graphics like doing that.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
I've done that before.
That's what we did. And we're like, it's going to work. It's got to work. And Neil took ownership then of the maintenance of the Rain Man. We was the water. We got nicknamed the water boy.
Water.
Yeah, 6 foot
tallest
5.
water boy
Six,
on the
six
planet.
foot 5 linebacker water boy. And yeah, it worked. And we had
Really?
the brine, but then we had to run the pipe out the window to go over to each tank and fill
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what we
But
did
it
for
worked.
Sailor
crossing.
engineering.
It worked.
Yeah.
It
That's
worked.
I mean, outside of getting water to the Rain Man unit itself.
Flawless.
Right. Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
that's good.
Yeah.
For
Such a
perspective,
good
it wasn't
unit.
Raymond's. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, like
You're just doing 9 knots.
and you would think I'm the biggest fanboy of it. No, it was Neil.
Right.
Like Neil Wilson. He absolutely loves Raymond too.
Right. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
ask
Having
him.
clean showers when you're halfway across the Atlantic.
No, but it was just
Yeah.
the unit worked. It
No.
produces 40 gallons
Yeah.
Yeah.
an hour,
amazing.
and it was the build quality. It
Yeah,
was
it's just pretty bulletproof from my understanding.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can-
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but I didn't want to have to do the whole piping and plumbing. So when we came
Yeah,
here,
Sure.
Danny
One of the-
worked his
yeah,
magic.
built
one
that
of the
in.
top things originally, though, I was
We're
going
actually
to
going
get
to feature that in a video coming up on the Rain Man, showing the install in your boat. It's going to be sweet.
And you've done Seawater Pro installs too.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was going to do. So the
Okay.
plan was I was going to keep I'm big on redundancy, and you can talk, if you do a walkthrough
Sure.
of my boat, you'll see like I have not one but 2 autopilots.
Right.
Not one but 2
Anemometer.
anemometers.
Yeah.
Anemometer.
I always felt like
I still
that's
never-
like the
I can't
DUI
pronounce
checkpoint
it.
question.
It is. Yep. Yeah.
The little
wind-
spinny bit, what's it called?
spinny bit,
Anemometer?
direction.
Yeah, you're sober, go.
Right.
Need drink.
Anemometer.
Yeah. I can't still pronounce it.
Yeah. You've got switching system too from your 48 volt to 12 volt system.
So you really have two? You have two up there spinning?
No. One static.
One static is called an Airmar 200 WX weather station.
Cool.
And
okay. And then
one of the funny, everything's from experience.
Yeah.
We were watching birds, and it's just such a funny story. It was like John was out with the air horn trying to get rid of the birds off the mast. God love him, trying to protect the...
And they were like, nope.
Yeah, this big giant bird was going to land right on it because it's a pole with a spinning thing.
Yeah, it's just asking for it.
It's a perfect landing spot, and they're tired. We're out in the middle of the ocean, but there's birds out 500 miles out in the middle of the ocean, and there are some really big ones.
Yeah.
And if they land on it, they're going to break it, and you're going to lose your wind speed
direction.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
No.
That is not good.
You need that.
Right.
So after I've done 10,500 miles, and I did that before I ever stepped foot in your door.
Right.
That's the experience I've brought with all the research, the 2 years of research before, and analysis paralysis. I've met some great YouTubing channels as well. Became good friends with like Sailing the Hoa, Ben and Ashley.
Cool.
And their experience, and got fishing advice from him. Like if you ever want, Parlay.
Those guys.
Met him all at the boat shows bunch of times. And he's Kiwi. We're both into rugby.
Sweet.
Which hurts after this recent Rugby World Cup. New Zealand beat us in the World Cup final, whatever. Semi-final. But we beat you.
Yes.
In the quarters, and they ended up winning it. South Africa.
Nice.
Somehow came through.
Whatever.
Whatever. I thought we lost him as a client. We're starting up with that's it.
Crap.
Done.
As you can tell, a lot of my life revolved around rugby.
That's funny.
Which Ireland's playing France tomorrow. 3:00. Having two of everything. So all that. Getting that sailing experience before you spend the money
good point.
on some of the critical items.
What another good
reason. So you can overspend. So what I did was got the bare essentials.
Yep.
Have the water maker. I have enough power, AGM bank, and I have the solar in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
So I
You
got
had a
that.
functional boat.
I had a fully functional boat, which
Right.
is why some of my friends think I'm crazy right now. They're like, wait, and my dad today as well, he's like, we're booked to fly in, meet my parents March 1st in Nassau, and then they're going to fly out of Georgetown. He's like, what do you mean there could be, your boat's still under construction? I thought it was sailed. You just sailed 10,000 miles. What?
Right.
What do you mean you can't sail to a schedule?
Do you like air conditioning,
That is funny.
Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like wanting to book flights to come visit. And I'm like, no, it's under construction.
Yeah.
Again.
you could live in a tent, but you usually buy a house, right? Like creature comforts matter.
Yeah.
Right.
So we wanted to get a bit under our belt, a bit of experience to find out what are the things we actually need.
Yeah.
What do you
it's not
value
theoretical
What do
anymore.
you value, versus overspending. And then also, it's not just about overspending because I've not gone cheap. It's where do I want to put more money into a higher end item,
Right.
like the air conditioning unit, because I do not want that aircon unit to go out in the Bahamas or
That's what I would do.
Zumas.
Yep.
So I went with a system that's got full remote diagnostics.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can dial into it.
Early warning systems.
There's sensors all over.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they can remote dial in and fix it.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it's made out of solid titanium for anywhere where salt water touches is all titanium.
Dang.
So there's no corrosion issue.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you have the strainer.
cool.
So I've done my
Jeez.
research
Yeah,
on
that is
that.
the Ferrari
It's
units. Wow.
I have the little baby unit on my boat. I have the 24 volt system, and it's amazing.
And he says, Mark, but what I don't like about you getting it is you won't appreciate it because you've not come from a different system. I said, I've come from none.
Come from nothing.
Yeah,
There's that.
He's saying that.
That's
Right.
awesome.
So you get, I got that.
Well, that and your rigging upgrades, right? Like, I mean, you crossed the ocean without certain creature comforts.
Oh, yeah.
Like having a boom brake or having a
So excited to
proper
show
diverter
people
block.
that. So
things
we
that you figure out that were on your crossing. These are things I really want.
Paul remembers me. I was like, I'm going to sell the boat. Oh, I hate this.
Oh, yeah. Sell the boat moments.
It was we've had a few. And I'm Irish, so it's a hot flash and I get over it.
Right.
So we had the boom, and the boom moves, and if the boom moves at all, when you're dropping the main, and you're out in big seas, it's gonna create a artificial wind, apparent wind in the sail, and so when you're dropping into stack pack, sometimes it just doesn't go into the sail.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
dumps
Yeah.
out.
Just kind of
dumps
right.
out.
Yeah.
I wanted to lock that down. And I was like, you gotta lock it down. So we're trying to create this triangulation. I got Owen to put in extra glass work on the back of the coach roof to reinforce this. So it was a custom design I came up with. It was like, let's create some reinforcement. Let's create these latches and then just tie a line. And then I remember me and my buddy Tomer up in Annapolis. We were going into West Marine, and there was some really cool guy up there. And then there's another shop up there. I can't remember it. But anyone goes to Annapolis, they know it. I can't remember the name.
I never leave the showground, so.
I know, either. It's a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all the used parts and stuff from all other boats. It's kind of cool. They couldn't figure out what was the best way, and then I brought Stephen on, expert rigger.
Yeah.
And oh my God, this solution. Like,
We have a boom brake. Yeah.
boom brake. So you got this key that goes under the boom, and I've got a clutch that I can reach from where I'm sitting, reach over,
At the helm.
lock the helm,
Okay.
lock the clutch, and it will lock down the boom center. Now you're using the main sheet, you're using the boom, and it doesn't pump
So
the
it
sail.
tag teams the sheet and the brake.
Yeah.
Wow.
at
Okay.
once.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now that combination with with Dyneema line and going down to 11 millimeters, sail will drop fast and arrive in the bag.
Right.
Wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah. And like the boom on the Leopard, that was another reason why I chose the Leopard 50 is, no, it's not performance, but we want that area up top.
Yeah.
But what we don't want is that steering wheel also up top, where then you have the boom and it's so bloody high.
So high up.
So high up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're losing
Yeah,
sail
right
area.
angle, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
could
tough.
I have more sail area without that lounge? Absolutely. I could have another 2 feet.
But then you wouldn't have a lounge.
But then I wouldn't have a
Yeah.
lounge. I could have another 2 feet.
The lounge is incredible.
See,
the lounge
just the
really
trade-offs,
is
you know?
amazing.
Yeah. 2
And
feet.
then, I mean, the boom brake is twofold, right? Like, not only is it great for when you're dropping the sail and keeping the boom under control,
Safety
or
of-
you're anchored and the boom is just swinging around at night, you can latch down the boom brake. But when you're sailing deep downwind, you now have a boom brake. So if you accidentally jibe,
nice.
the boom isn't going to come.
It's not going to come all the way around. That's cool. We need to show that on a.
Yeah,
I've
on
never
our sea
heard of a
trial
boom
video,
brake.
we're gonna
Super
yeah.
controlled, moving
Yeah.
back and forth.
That's
So
great. Yeah.
you got the
Instead of
safety
using
and the
sheets for all that?
convenience.
Yeah.
So it's all those types of things that, like,
Sick.
in my head, I'm like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because you're
Let's
not.
do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. When we were flying the Oxley, there's a bunch of videos. They're on the Oxley forum group of how to fly an Oxley. That was all on board Sea Central, my boat, on the crossing. So we've done a bit of that, and we did a few world firsts on that too. One is we've now rigged. So during the crossing, we did rig it successfully, but we had to remove lines from blocks. So we were taking the Reef 1 or Reef 2 line out of the blocks at the base of the mast, and I was running a new line, and we tied it onto the snuffer line, as an extra line, and because you still need the original one at the front, and so when we raise the sail, we now have an extra line up the top,
Like a secondary
snuffer.
Wow.
But that snuffer line goes to the electric winch,
Oh.
and so when there's a problem with wind and you're at the front. And that's kind of like my motto is I look at problems. That's what I've done for a living is maybe it's beginner's mindset coming into this. I was like, there's got to be a better way. I don't want to accept this.
Because
Let's
usually it's
figure it out.
manpower that you
Yeah.
just pull down the snuffer sock.
Yeah.
And every now and then the sail will puff and fill and then shoot the snuffer back up to the mast.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
the
start
person
over.
hanging on.
And we're not always going
Right.
to have a 6'5" Neil Wilson on board.
Yeah,
right?
with all
Because
that-
that was
yeah,
his job.
true. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
using the body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can electrically.
Yeah, so
bring it down.
I can electrically bring it down. So I get to fly the Oxley, brilliant sail, and when the wind gets too much, and we're conservative sailors, we fly it up to 15 knots,
Okay.
apparent wind speed, with consideration for sea state. Could it go more? Yes, in flat seas.
Right.
But what people
you might
don't
surf.
When you surf and when you hit a wave, you shock load a sail.
Yeah.
It's not the sail manufacturer's fault, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the sea condition. You know, so when they throw out numbers with sea condition, you need
It's a balance.
common sense needs to apply.
It really is.
And so yeah, we would take it down. But imagine a squall comes. Now it's just me and my wife. I can use the electric winch. It brings it down as far as the boom, because then the angle changes. Now that's why we need still the original snuffer line. I will walk in a calm manner to the front.
90% of the sail
90%
is contained.
sail is down and it's locked off now. And I will go to the front, take command of the remainder. I use the where the anchor opens up. There's a cleat there, and you do an S loop through. So you got the friction control, and I will bring it down the remainder and then just pack it in.
Right.
Very calm in
cool.
a gentlemanly manner.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's that. So now we've got the main solved. I now have the oxy solved for as best as I can, for making it
For what it
easy to
is.
sail.
Yep.
And now I'm like, I still like my code sails. I got a lovely Jenniker from Bob Marrett North Sails, phenomenal guy. Call him up. He's got your back. And I also want, this G0 sail from North Sails. I really wanted that. Flown it. It was a great sail. But it's got a continuous, furling line. I'm like, I don't want to be up there doing that. I'm going to sound like I'm on here. but I'm like, I don't want to.
It's a lot of work. It's a
a
big
lot of work.
sail with
Yeah.
a drum that is it's only that big.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mechanical
And again,
work.
Yeah.
To get
There's
furled.
the what ifs.
Yep.
What if the wind
What if you
picks
break
up?
your arm and you have to furl?
Right. Yep.
That'll never happen, right?
No, not me.
No way. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
so we so I said, okay, we need to solve that. And we were trying to figure out a way to drill a hole up in the coach roof and run the line and then bring it back. I wanted to figure out how to get that line back to the electric winch.
It's doable, but it's really
It is doable.
complicated. Yep.
And then you have a line going across where you're walking out. And I know I have to run out from the helm sometimes, when squall comes.
It's about
Yeah, it's a boat. I just don't want that. And so then you made the suggestion, and actually Bob as well. They were like, have you not considered like the cost of an electric furler?
right.
I don't. No, I haven't. Tell me more.
Right.
And so then Stephen taught me more about that, and I was like, tell me more. Keep going.
Electric furler for your Code Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Genoa. Your Code Zero
Nice.
on the bowsprit.
500 RPM.
When did that come out? That's got to be.
It's been out in Europe for a while. In the U.S., Newport Boatyard was the release.
Okay.
So 7-8 months ago, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
That's some fresh
250
tech.
RPM on the slow speed and 500 RPM on the fast
Wow.
speed. Brushless motor from Selden, 42 volts. I mean, just amazing system.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Again, on our sea trial, we're going to play with that thing.
Yeah. I want to see that.
Amazing.
Wait till
And
you
it's
wait
a
till you see the
legitimate
sea trial of
safety
this boat,
feature.
guys.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a safety feature. You can single-handedly furl and unfurl the Code Zero because you're at the helm. You have control the sheets.
That's
the
sweet.
furling mechanism is right there in front of you. You don't have to wake up the crew. You can fly
Yeah.
the Code
Turn
Zero
it
all night
into a whole
long.
thing. Yeah.
You literally like, hey, the conditions are perfect. And, okay, I'm on the helm and it's 2 a.m. and a squall's coming in. So push a button, furl it up, unfurl the jib. No one knows the thing happened.
That's
And then on
sweet.
top of that,
Wow.
what people don't consider is top down, bottom up. Which one?
Yeah.
And so I already had.
You have the Helix, right?
It's somewhere out there. It's a beautiful work of art.
Yes, your the Carver.
The Carver. So I had the Carver
The
one
adapter.
first, the Carver adapter. So
Yep.
if a lot of Leopard owners, they have the Profurl, whatever
MX.
X.
Yeah.
The Carver does work with it. So if you do want to convert your bottom up to a top down,
Yep.
Oh, cool.
which I think everybody should.
Yeah.
Right. It's a tighter furl on the Code Zero.
Yeah, you get a
okay.
tighter furl up top, and when you think about wind, the wind is typically stronger at the very top,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's where you have the loosest furl with a bottom up, and that's where if the wind catches it, it can actually unfurl.
Oh,
and a
right.
lot of people, you should take it down. Like this is not your Genoa.
Right.
You should be taking that sail down
In heavy weather.
in heavy
Yeah,
weather.
it's got to come down.
Got to come down. I just I bought the 50 for
Have
easy
it furled
living.
tight and
Have it furled tight and leave it up a little bit. We got the UV sailcloth there.
And we're actually going to be experimenting a little bit with we're going to test between the Carver and the Facnor, which is the best tack adapter for
We
this
don't know
furler
yet.
that will
Cool.
convert
All
us
right.
to top down. So we'll know
Sweet.
hopefully by end of day tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the
Okay.
goal. It arrived this afternoon, so I get to play with that
So we
tomorrow.
got the two best adapters that will go in to convert to, from a top down, from a bottom up to a top down.
Right.
And we're going to test those with it, see which gives the tightest furl. The one of them is $2,000. Another one is like
$900.
$900.
So we're hoping the
price
900.
difference. We're hoping the 900.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Nice. That'd be cool to see.
But so we're going to test that out.
But I think that's going to be a first. I don't know of another 50 that has an electric code furler. Have you seen one?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Crazy.
think it's a thing yet.
Yeah. Wow, that's
So-
sweet. So you have that. You also have FLIR cameras. Man, you got this like masthead camera that's incredible.
The down.
I mean,
I have a Down Vision 360.
okay.
Which is
Oh,
going
it's
to be
like
the
parking for
patented
your
name
car.
when
There
we
we go.
patent
That's
it.
definitely the name. I like that.
Yeah, patent pending.
Right? Yeah.
there
So
you
it's like the view that you have on your car, right, where they stitch all the cameras.
It's like
together.
driving a Tesla when parking
yeah,
the 50.
yeah. That is the
Because
way.
let's admit it, right? On parking a Leopard 50 without any kind of camera assistance is tough. I've
Yeah.
moved that boat.
So much
and,
to see
I mean,
over.
you have to have faith. Like when you're driving from the starboard side, you just line up with their starboard pilings and trust that the port side is going to clear because you've
wide
measured
enough.
or someone told you it's wide enough.
Yeah.
And I had bodies on the other side. You guys weren't here to help, and I was just being like, "All right, cool. Like we're clear. Yes, good. All right, I'm just looking down
You
the
just-
line
yeah,
here."
yeah.
Blind faith.
But with the camera, with the cameras, you're
You're on it. You
verified.
see it. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
okay, cool. What they said is true, and also I can
That
see
seems
it.
crucial.
Yeah.
And not only is the 360 for that, it's like when I'm backing out of somewhere, I can see if there's another boat coming, which I can't
It's
see.
really
from the helm.
wide. Yeah.
So I can change it from 35 up to 60, 70 degrees wide when it's up at an like close, 76 foot, close to 80 foot mast up the top.
Right.
You've got
Nice.
wide field of view, and also backing into a dock or going forward.
Or dropping the hook. I love
Dropping
that
the
you can
hook.
see a sand spot. You
Yes.
can find a spot
Sure,
between some
sure.
seagrass and be like, that's, I
Or
know
mooring
that
balls,
right there.
picking up a mooring ball.
Yeah.
Like
That's
we've got the
sweet.
headsets, the marriage savers.
Yeah.
But now with the Down Vision 360, I'm able to actually see. By the way, it's not a product. We just
Right.
Yeah, you're just making. Yeah, you
made it up.
It sounds so.
that. Yeah,
I know, right?
I'm just calling it that.
Yeah, it sounds so legit.
We Jimmy rigged it, and there was a great guy in Cape Town, Kevin, as well, and so he did something similar with the cameras as well, and did the split screen.
Yeah.
So like learn from everyone around you in the community and tweak and optimize it. So
Yeah.
we did that first with I forget what the cameras were, Raymarine
I can't remember. the model
200s, I
number.
think,
Yeah.
and there's the new 300s, and so we've optimized it a little bit now with the field of view, and we're still optimizing it further. Where we were talking about if I can stitch another 2 side ones with zoom lenses, now what I'll be able to do
For
is
close up.
Wow.
for a close up of like when I want to do an eggshell landing
Yeah.
on a dock over, where
Right.
it might be, or when you're coming down and. There's like bowsprits on other boats, which you
Sure.
can see on the 2 anyway.
You could, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I could see my 11-year-old on the bow of the boat last night at
Yeah.
like
And-
8:30 p.m.
Yeah, and the night vision,
It's amazing.
it's incredible.
It's really amazing.
Wow.
For the cost of those cameras too, it's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
like $400-$500 per camera, so
Yeah.
it's $1,000
Yeah.
with install. When you get your mast down,
Yeah.
Yeah, just run it.
Yeah.
Run it.
It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
benefit. It's one small gel coat repair.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
pays for it.
yeah, gel coat repairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother podcast right there. Yeah.
Don't raise your anchor too quick, guys.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
let a friend do it.
Yeah.
I've got it. I know what I'm doing. Sure
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. The flare camera. The flare camera.
Would you recommend it?
For the money, no.
Yeah. What did it run you? The one you?
I got a
many
sweetheart
models.
deal
Oh,
from
okay.
a friend in Florida. I got.
But what do those tend to cost?
But they tend to cost about $3,000-$4,000.
Okay.
Yeah. It's between
Maybe
3,000
up
and
there.
4,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't get it.
Really?
We were on the crossing, and I was trying to see container ship that I could see good with my eyes, like the red lights and stuff. The flare couldn't pick it up. Maybe it's because we had it at the very top of the mast too,
Oh, might need to
and
be on
just
a
the
spreader or
movement.
something.
A lot of movement,
A
yeah.
lot of movement. If you're doing it, please install it down low.
Yeah, lower down, definitely.
Pull through for
Stability.
at the spreader.
Yeah.
Although, really, I think its benefit is you're coming in somewhere it's pitch black, and everyone should have that mooring light on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Their anchor light.
In theory.
In theory,
Right.
but anyone who's sailed around anywhere knows
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
there's always some guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's always one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to save that 3 watts of power.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think it's good for that.
Okay.
If someone fell overboard, and that's one of the adverts they show like a yellow box around someone holding up their hands. I don't know if it would work for that.
Yeah. Need to test it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that on video. I'm not. Yeah.
You want to test
I'm
it?
not jumping in. No.
But it is incredible when you're at a dock place and, for the first 5 minutes, the gimmick goes, oh, wow, I can see everything.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
that wears
Maybe not
off.
that. No,
That
not
wears
so
off.
much. Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
That's cool.
I wouldn't get it.
Yeah. And you have Starlink on your boat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that been working good?
Oh, flawless.
Wow.
The whole
Yeah.
crossing. So we did.
It works when you move?
Yeah.
Golly, that's crazy. I thought it would have to have like gimbals to keep it.
Yeah, so
locked
I
on.
did the high performance dish.
Okay.
I have the RV or the one that moves
Yeah.
for as a backup. And you can disable the motors on the backup, and there's 2 ways of doing it. There's one where they cut out the wide piece, but you're actually cutting into a weatherproofed area. So if anyone wants to do it, what you need to do is where the pole is, you it's about 2.5 inches going around in a square format. And stay within the weather protected piece, otherwise you're introducing moisture. And if you got a 3D printer and there's designs, and I've got
Yeah.
one too, I can send them a CAD file.
There's a few posts out there about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I've,
bet.
I've got the file I can give them for free. And you can mount it in and
Okay.
make that, and it works. So the
Okay.
regular
All right.
don't need to buy the expensive
That's
one.
cool.
I was
Good pro
working
tip.
on the crossing. I was still working.
Yeah.
I was doing conference calls
Wow.
in the middle of the ocean,
Crazy.
in the
Crazy.
Mid-Atlantic.
It's hard to comprehend.
I know.
It
Just
really
nuts.
is.
It's just
Yeah.
nuts. I mean, that's
And
like,
my reception was better than other people on the call. Like
Right.
there was people on the call and their cameras
That's
were freezing.
ridiculous. That's
and I was
ridiculous.
like, "Sorry, you're cutting out.
You're
sir.
lagging.
You're
Yeah.
lagging."
yeah, right? In your residence. That's
Nuts.
crazy.
It's really nuts.
Because there's
Awesome.
not a lot of boats hooking up to that terminal in the sky.
Right,
That's
exactly.
true.
No,
That's
really
not
low
Yeah,
traffic.
not much throughput.
Bandwidth
Yeah.
there is.
I had it all
You
to
just
myself.
soak it up. That's your own personal satellite. That's good
Yes.
point. That makes sense.
So what we did
That's
was
hilarious.
it was expensive. But I needed connectivity.
Oh,
I needed
yeah, I mean,
guaranteed, and
you're
also
working.
for
What's that
everyone on board as well for the crossing. So I paid $1,000 for you get 1,000 gigs, on average. So with all of us on board, we were doing about 500 to 600 gigs, maybe 800 gigs. But when you do the maths, it's $2 a gig when you enable the priority. And we had 5 people on board, and I was doing conference calls
Right.
a lot. So not everybody's going to be doing that.
Sure.
Right.
But from a safety standpoint, even if you don't go for the big expensive one, and I would still do it again if I'm crossing an ocean. I'll pay it out.
Yep.
But you can do the toggle priority.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
cool.
$2
Okay.
per gig. I have global, which is I think $200. So you have $200 plus $2 per gig.
Yep.
Okay.
Is the way Starlink works right now, and you have marine connectivity.
Right.
And with the high performance, you have it without the limit on the speed of movement.
right.
If you have the land-based one, there's up to 10-mile range and offshore, and then also 10 miles per hour. If you go over that speed, which
Oh yeah, that's a
that's
funny
a-
limit they have. That it's miles per hour because it
Which-
changes the ability for the satellite, I guess, to
Yeah.
change like
Triangulated or
to
something. Or
triangulate.
keep
Yeah,
it,
it's like to pick up
locked.
satellites
Yeah.
over speed. Yeah.
That's funny.
they're doing a laser puts between each terminal,
Right.
and then it
Right.
has to go back to a land-based
Right.
terminal as
Yeah.
well. So
Oh,
it does
it's like you
cost
can
them more
outpace it.
money
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from server times and everything else.
Right.
So to be fair to Elon and team,
Yeah.
Right.
he's scraping
Crazy.
by. He's scraping by.
I know,
Right, yeah,
man.
poor
We gotta
guy.
gotta help
Poor
him
guy.
out.
Yeah.
Gotta help him
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
No, it's
Um,
amazing. I mean, I have a few clients that I do consultation with, like when they're doing crossings, Pacific crossings, and literally get calls from people. It's such a weird age we're living in, where they're video calling me from the middle of the Pacific Ocean in the middle of nowhere, going, "Hey, can you just look at this thing with our rig? It looks a little weird. Can you reassure us?" And I go, yes, that's perfect normal. Or no, hey, you need to make some adjustments. But they were able to contact someone sitting in Florida from the middle of the South Pacific.
Yeah.
It's amazing
thousands of miles
safety.
from shore. And the safety and the peace of mind.
Right.
They finish up calling, they're like, "Hey, thanks so much. We can sleep well tonight because we know that that's normal, or we've remedied it."
I mean, on one hand, it's sad you can't disconnect anymore,
right?
Because that used to be kind of a special, kind of sacred time, and when you do crossing, passage making. But on the other hand,
you can switch the router off.
Yeah, see, just turn it off.
It's so hard.
I know. See, I was gonna say, like,
so hard.
Me actually turning it off though,
Yes.
I'd be like,
it's like cell phone. I had this romanticized view when I was thinking about my crossing and going, "Oh man, it's going to be so good to disconnect." But then I realized, I'd have to quit my job a year earlier.
Right.
The cost of
has
that.
all kinds of other ramifications.
the cost of that,
And so, but the safety aspect, phenomenal.
That's huge.
And weather. So rather than trying to get the grip files and everything else,
we're getting the Weather Channel.
We're watching. We're getting. We're using Predict Wind. And I love Predict Wind for certain things, and then Windy for other things.
Yes.
Right. Cool.
So for a quick, at a glance in the moment, we use Windy.
Okay.
Right.
On the crossing. So we used Windy on the crossing for also the current. So the Guiana current, you come off the coast of Brazil and stuff like that. Making sure we're not missing out on extra push from the current, and the same thing for the Gulf Stream when you're going up to Annapolis, or even worse, God forbid, you're in the Gulf Stream when you're coming down.
Stay out of it.
Stay out of it. So we're using Windy with the current. Now Predict Wind has that too. It's just that Windy's just that bit quicker than Predict Wind when you just want to load it up and see it
at a glance.
Quicker.
Right.
Then Predict Wind is doing a lot better number crunching for weather routing.
Right.
But it like Paul would agree, he was always like, but it has us tacking and jibing and doing all this.
Keep it simple.
We're cruisers.
Yeah, how
we want to set it and forget it.
Let it save half a day.
Yeah.
That's
we're
awesome.
like, no. So what we'll do is take that and take the average line in between it in Predict Wind, and you can then export that file.
Okay.
You can actually then import that into your Ray Marine, your Axiom, and that creates our waypoints. And then I'll delete some of the waypoints to create more of a streamlined line.
Cool.
And then we'll use that for it.
Right.
Nice.
So all of those things, I think are great to have.
Yeah, you have access to all that. That's sweet. And most importantly, while you're crossing, you'd be able to be streaming this podcast to your boat, paying all this money per gig. I wonder if the first person to comment, I'm actually watching the show.
Midway across.
Out in the Pacific. That'd be awesome. That's cool. Any final kind of closing thoughts that you would, now knowing what you know about your boat and what you've done, if you could give yourself the tips whenever you were first buying it? Anything come to mind that maybe some hard lessons learned?
Don't, I went into analysis process, I said. There's that nervousness, and you still can't get away from it. You fear the unknown. Just follow the journey, ride the wave.
Cool.
Don't stress the small stuff, try to not overanalyze and think through everything so much as what I do, which is it's just not in my DNA. I try not to.
Right.
It's
it's a journey, Mark. It's a journey.
Right.
I was a workaholic before.
Yeah.
Work weekends,
kind of
everything
transfer
else.
it.
I've just transferred it over to something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I would say that. Enjoy it. You're going to enter into a great community. Like the boating community is just phenomenal. Everyone's kind for the most part.
Yeah.
People are kind. They're always willing to help. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I would go in and I would read stuff because I was worried about it being a silly question.
Oh yeah, just ask it.
Just ask it.
Yeah.
We have a rule within the company, man. We have people here who've got decades of experience, and we have a rule there's no stupid questions.
Yeah.
It's just ask it because you're leaning on the community, and it's
the
a beautiful
amount of
thing.
time that I spent spinning my wheels for
pride in
hours,
the way.
researching, and my pride got in the way. I was like, I can't ask that question. Oh, it's going to be silly.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know. Like, I've sailed quite a bit before. I'm just
right.
On mono, I was like, no.
Just ask it.
That's
Just
cool.
ask it.
Okay.
Ask
That's
those
good.
questions.
Yeah,
guys.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, ask the questions when you have them, and ride the wave, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Don't
Exactly,
overanalyze. Yeah.
Don't overanalyze it.
That's sweet.
Doesn't matter what boat you're on.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when you're on the hook,
Yep.
you're in the same waters as any other vessel.
Yeah. You're all watching the same sunsets.
Just get out
Yeah.
on the water.
That's
I
cool.
wish I did it sooner.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Awesome. Mark O'Leary, Stephen Lloyd. I'm Ryan, a.k.a. Seller Smurf. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have made it to this point in the podcast, would you please consider hitting the like button, subscribing if you haven't already, hit the bell for notifications, and check in the description for below for all kinds of relevant links and different parts that the yacht rigger likes to use around the yard when they are helping us keep our dreams afloat while we're out there enjoying our adventures. And we will see you guys on the next episode of the On Deck channel.
Awesome.
Careful.
Oh, sweet.